Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, it's so good to have you. I'm thrilled. And if you're not new here, thank you for coming back once again. So before we go into today's video, I'd like to ask you a question. I'd like to ask if you've ever used any tip from this channel. If you follow my content, you know that I drop videos about interior design tips and how you can design your space and style your space even if you are not an interior designer. If there's any time where you wanted to do something in your space and you remembered what I said and you're like, oh, she said we shouldn't do it this way, she said we should do it this way. Has that ever happened? I'd really like to know if my tips are helping you out. Okay, maybe I'm reaching, but if that has ever happened, please let me know in the comment section. So today's video is about principles of interior design. You see, there are 7 basic principles of interior design, but I'm not going to bore you with all those because they are very, very deep and it takes a lot of practice and learning to know how to incorporate them into your designs. So what I'm going to do is give you 3 tips that even without prior knowledge in interior design, if you follow these 3 principles, you'll be able to get a cohesive and well-designed space. So let's get straight into it. A well-decorated space should function well. It should evoke a feeling, which means there has to be mood, and it should reflect the personality of the person, people, or family that use such space. So which means a well-designed space should be functional, there should be mood, and it should reflect personality. So those are the 3 principles that I'm going to discuss today. The first one is function. Function has to do with the purpose of your space. Is it a living room? Is it a bedroom? Is it a kitchen? Is it a store? Is it a pantry? It's just defining what that purpose is going to serve you. It's defining what you are going to be doing in that space. So which means when you realize the function of a space, it influences the decisions you make concerning that space. For example, you cannot say, oh, this space is a bedroom, and then you bring every furniture into the space without a bed. So that is function, is defining the purpose of a space. So when you realize the function of a space, there are certain questions you should ask yourself. How can I modify the space to suit my functions and my lifestyle? Is it going to be a single purpose space? Is it going to be dual purpose? Is it going to be multi-purpose? Let's say, for example, you want your office space to also be in your bedroom, which means it's not just your bedroom anymore, it is also your work area. So it means that for that particular space now, sleeping is not only the function, working is also part of the function. So whatever you are doing there has to reflect that lifestyle. So in order to properly make your space functional, there are 3 elements you should put in mind: focal points, furniture and furniture arrangement, lighting. Focal point is the point of emphasis in your space. In your bedroom, your focal point can be your bed. In your living room, your focal point can be your entertainment unit, which is your TV console and so on. In your office, your focal point can be a well-styled shelf. A focal point can be a wall that has a statement piece or a grand wall art on it. Focal point is simply the first thing that draws your eyes when you enter a space. So always make sure you have a focal point in your space. It's the foundation for a well-designed space. The next element under function is your furniture and your furniture arrangement. When you're picking out furniture for your space, you have to consider the function of your space. Make sure the furniture you're picking out, whether it's sofa, bed, TV console, or whatever furniture, suits or serves the purpose of that space and your lifestyle. Make sure it's the right size. Do not bring furniture that are too big or too small for your space. It tips off the balance of the space. And also, when it comes to the arrangement of your furniture, be mindful of the other elements in the space, such as the windows, the doors, the electrical outlets, such as the switches, the sockets. You don't want your furniture to obstruct the usage of all these other elements. It will totally defeat the functionality of your room. You want your space to be functional. When you want to block something, you want it to be accessible. When you want to open your windows, you want it to be accessible. So when you're picking out your furniture, be mindful of other elements in your space and also be mindful of the size and purpose of those furniture. The third element you should consider when it comes to the function of your space is lighting. If you've watched more than 2 of my videos, then you would have heard me emphasize on the importance of lighting. There are 2 types of lighting. We have the natural light and we have the artificial light. Natural light is simply sunlight that comes into your space, maybe through your window or through your skylight if you have one. While artificial lights are lights that we put into the space by ourselves, chandeliers, wall sconces, ceiling lights, table lamps, floor lamps, and so on. When it comes to the function of your space, lighting is very important. You want task lights that will be used when you want to perform a task in your place. Let's say in the kitchen, you have bright lights that will let you see everything you're doing when you're doing them. Then you have accent lights that would help to enhance the details, the textures, the colors of the space. Even though that sound aesthetic, is still function because you want your space to be beautiful even as it is functional. The second principle is mood. Mood is the feeling of a space. Mood can be influenced or created by your choice of color, your choice of textures and patterns, the accessories, the theme that you're bringing into your space. Even though you can choose any mood you want for your space, but there are certain moods that you would want to evoke in certain spaces. For example, in the bedroom or family lounge, you might want to evoke a feeling of comfort. While in the living room, you might want to evoke a feeling of pride and happiness because it is the first impression of your house, of your home. So you want it to be impressive and also welcoming. In order to get the mood of your space right, there are certain factors you should consider. The first one is theme. Theme is simply identifying the type of design style you want in your space. Do you want the contemporary design style? Do you want the minimalist design style? Do you want the bohemian vibe in your space? This style that you choose for your space should define the theme and the mood of your space. So if you're here wondering what all these things I'm talking about are, they're simply interior design style. And if you've not heard that before, or you personally do not know what your interior design style, then I suggest you watch my video that is simply dedicated to interior design style and how you can personally identify the style that suits your personality. So I'll leave the link to the video up here and also at the end of this video so that you can easily click and watch. Another factor that influences the mood of your space is your choice of color. Your choice of color should always support the theme of your space, which means that the interior design style that you decide to do for your space should influence your color palette. In other words, you should pick out the interior design style or the theme of your space before you pick out your colors. Like I have always said, colors have a big way of influencing our mood and our emotions. So the colors that you pick out for your space will play a huge role in how your space turns out to be eventually. If you're interested in learning on how to pick out colors for your space like a pro, I have a video dedicated to just that, so I'm going to leave the link at the end of this video so that you can watch and learn how to pick out color for your space like a pro. When it comes to the mood of your space, another factor that influences this, or you should put in mind, is patterns and textures. Patterns are simply visual elements that repeat. For example, lines, stripes, polka dots, and so on. While texture is the surface quality of a material. For example, silk, velvet. Texture can be seen and also felt. A pattern can also be textured. A pattern can influence the size of a room. A pattern can make a small room look bigger and a big room look smaller. A vertical stripe pattern, wallpaper, or paint design can increase the height of a wall visually, while an horizontal stripe pattern, wallpaper, or paint design can increase the width of a wall visually. So for example, if you're struggling with a low ceiling in your space and you're looking for a way to make your wall appear higher than it is, you can incorporate the use of vertical stripe wallpapers or paint design to just increase the height of the wall visually. A horizontal vertical stripe wallpaper or wall paint design can help to increase the width of your wall visually. So while pattern influences the size of a space, texture influences the feel of a space. Texture can make a room feel warm or cool. For example, a rough texture can make a room feel cozy and warm, while a smooth texture can make a room feel sterile and cool. The mood of your space is also influenced by the furniture you bring into your space. As much as furnitures are functional most of the time, they should also serve as accessories to your space, which means the choice of your furniture should match the theme and the color of your space. For example, if you're going for a glam design in your bedroom, you should be looking at tucked bed frame. You should also be looking at mirrored side tables and all these furnitures that has all the elements that a glam interior design entails. The last principle is the principle of personality. But before we go into that, please, if you've not subscribed to my channel, this is the right time to do that. And please give me a thumbs up if you've liked this video so far. And thank you so much for watching to this point. And also share my video with your friends. Who knows, someone might be moving out or renovating or restyling their space and they just need motivation and inspiration. Come on, be your brother's keeper and share this video today. So, principle of personality. This principle is about you. This is your chance to stamp yourself on this space. This is the chance to bring in your vibe, to bring in your personality, to bring in your hobby into this space, so that when anybody walks into that space, they will easily see the connection between you and your space. And one of the many ways of doing this is through accessories. Accessories such as throw pillows, blankets, vases, rugs, wall art, plants, pictures, and so on are very important part of a well-planned space. These accessories are mostly placed on furnitures, on the floor, on the walls, tabletops, and so on. So they should reflect your taste, they should reflect your personality, your hobby, your vibe. They should just reflect you. So make sure you own this process of your styling. You can also bring in your personality into your space through scents and fragrances like scented candles, tea lights, diffusers, room sprays, and so on. These scents and fragrances should be you. So what is your favorite scent? Is it vanilla? Is it wood? Is it floral? Is it citrus? Whatever that scent is, you should be able to smell it immediately we walk in through your door. So own your scent in your home today. It's part of your personality and it's part of styling your space. Bringing in your personality into your space can also help to counter some sterile design. You see, while styling a space, we can get carried away with all the guidelines, the rules, the color palettes that we're following, that we can forget to add in joy, to add in vibes into the space. So by the time you're bringing in your personality into the space, it is a way for you to counter all this serious and sterile styling. It could be as simple as adding a pop of color to a very neutral color palette. So what have we learned today? I will tell you. You see, when it comes to interior design, there are 7 basic elements. We have harmony and unity, we have balance, we have scale and proportion, we have contrast, we have rhythm, emphasis, and details. So what I did in today's video is to help you realize that even with all these 7 basic principles that every interior designer should follow, it all boils down to 3 principles: function, mood, and personality. So if you are able to incorporate these 3 principles into your space properly, then you've just accomplished the other 7. So guys, thank you so much for watching my video. This is the right time for you to subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and leave a comment in the comment section to let me know how you feel about this video and to know if you've learned anything so far. So guys, thank you. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.